Hey, buddy. Thanks for being here. I'm not sure how you found this little corner of YouTube, but come on in. I'm Bearded Arctic Lights, a dad who's been playing Minecraft Bedrock Edition on a very different kind of map. It all started about 10 years ago when my dad started a Java map, and over time the map's been converted, lost, forgotten, and picked back up multiple times. Now it's kind of turned into this multi-generational family adventure. These days, this map of ours has been hijacked by me, a few friends, a sibling, and now even my own kids make their appearances. What started out as just a simple game has turned into something more. A digital scrapbook of all the adventures, chaos, and creativity we've shared over the years. But let's get one thing straight. This channel isn't about speedrunning, it's not about hardcore challenges, nor even massive redstone builds. At least not in and of themselves. It's more about sharing a story one block at a time with some of the people in my life, and hopefully giving my kids something fun to look back on one day. So whether you're here for the nostalgia, the family vibes, or just some chill Minecraft content, you're invited to come along for the ride. Grab a snack, get comfy, and let's jump in. Before we begin our main series, let's start out with a little bit of a tour so we know where we're starting from. And as every good tour goes, we'll begin today with a bird's eye view using our handy dandy map. Like most other maps, we have our north, south, east, and west cardinal directions. We also have our main city limits roughly outlined here. However, of course, most of our builds, the vast majority of them, do not take place within the main city. You can even see on this very old map, plenty of builds were already outside of the city. Some of the more notable landmarks include the Great Pyramid, the Red Pyramid, the Black Pyramid, Emily's Barn, the Garden, the Zoo, Emily's Castle, Emily's former village that has since been removed. We have the Sphinx, the Treasure Hall, the Villager Trader Hall, bamboo and sugarcane farms. We also have our creeper and totem farms above the ocean. We have our mending villager. We also have our main city front entrance. Then we have our North River that we don't really have a use for at the moment. Here's our Diamond City River we use all the time. Our East River leads out towards the ocean. And lastly, our South River with our villager breeding village. Oh yeah, we also have Mickey's Jungle Temple and Treehouse south of the city. I'm not really sure what this is. We may have to check it out later. Okay, back to the tour. Now that we have a general idea of our main city's layout, let's see it in person. First of all, let me get some armor. There we go, that's better. Alright, so this main quarter here is kind of the epicenter of the city. Each direction it leads north, south, east, and west. Once you get outside of the city, there's a path that continues to, I think, 2,000 blocks, or maybe 2,500, something like that. But this is the center of the city, that's why we have our beacons. It goes down a couple of floors, up a couple of floors. The main entrance is right over this way. Yep, that's the entrance. We've got our little obelisks and diamond towers. That's the thing you see in the center there. We've kind of just used this world as our project world. We have a lot of random things. I think part of the series is going to be us getting together and deciding on some new additions to the world, as well as some things to help tie together what we already have. One of our newest additions is our treasure hall. It was originally going to be a kind of an observatory, but that didn't work out. I ended up not liking how the telescope looked, and we did away with it. But here we have just some treasures, different armors on display, conduit, some mob heads. I think maybe we're missing a newer head, a piglin head maybe, or goat horns, our records. We're missing quite a few of the records. I hope to fill that in coming up soon. We have nearly all of the smithing tablets, or rather the armor trim tablets, but not quite all of them. Some of the more difficult ones we're still working on. There's our Sphinx. There's really not much inside of him. I think just a concrete generator. Let's see, so that was north of the city. If we head south, we get to the Great Pyramid. It was one of the first big projects we did here. It's really not used for much now, other than at night it spawns a lot of monsters, so it's fun to watch them sometimes. Or if you're going after a very specific mob, it's a fairly safe place to go. It's just a large pyramid all the way to the top, and it's inverted the same size going down to the bottom, with this mostly glass bridge in the middle. Yeah, there we go. That's a pretty good view of it. That's the only main thing directly south of the city, just the Great Pyramid. We have our main gathering area here with our trash can, our old fishing spot. Back when that was the best way to get enchanted books. Of course, now it's not so useful. And here's our overstock storage, where we keep all the netherrack and bamboo. Our main storage up here. This room is where we gather before just about every adventure or task. We have just about everything we need here. Of course, we don't really use the enchanting table or the brewing stand nearly as much as we used to. Here's our beds. We have 4 main players, so we've got 4 beds in the main house. On the second level, we can go this way. Yeah. There we go. Now I can see my UI bar. This is where most of the villagers live. At least that's what we've tried, but they still wander to the city. They get quite annoying sometimes. There's a lot of them. But they have these little workstations here and some more over here. So we have every type of villager you could need. It's useful when you're trying to trade for certain items. All right, heading off, I guess, up there. Oof. There we go. There's a pretty decent look of the city. Yeah. I believe this was the very first house on the map at all. It was just this little room in here. Hey, we got some chests left over. Yeah, I think this was the original house started on the map, and then it's been expanded. And we'll pass up our villager trading halls. And just south of that, we have our villager breeding village. It hasn't got a lot of use in a while, but it has come in handy, even though it's a bit of a mess now. Here's our original villager trader hall. Let's try that again. We get pretty much all of the enchanted books we need by trading iron or paper or books to these villagers. This is kind of in a bad spot, but after we added the second trading hall, the iron golems started spawning in the middle because they were a little bit too close. But it still works, though. Alright. This is where we get all of our golden carrots, as well as a few other miscellaneous items, but mainly golden carrots. We've got all these guys to trade with. Alright. That's so pretty. Alright, here we have our villager church. And right through the villager church, we have our panda exhibit. It was added back in 1.8 when pandas first came out. It's a little bit out of the way, but we really wanted a few pandas in the city. Alright, back to the church. We have some locations for librarians, cartographers, somewhere clerics, I'm not sure where. Oh, these are just some lampposts we've been toying with the design of. We're trying to decide which ones we're going to put where and if we're going to use a certain color or mix it up. So we've seen west and north of the city. Let's head to the zoo. Here we have our little garden. It's just for aesthetics, really. Just to look nice. Here we have our zoo. We don't have quite every animal yet. Mostly just have the easy ones. Oh, let's get some seeds real quick. Ah, another one. We've got goats, sheep. Somewhere there's a Jeb sheep. We've got cows, chickens, pigs. The pigs have been glitched out for a while. Not really sure what's going on with that. You know, we have all the typical horse equipment for testing our horses. Here we have Emily's castle. We have, lots of cats. Some quarters, in and out. Lots of villagers, villager stations. I don't know for certain what her end goal is with this, but I know it's still heavily in progress. Here we have our barracks for the villagers. Okay, and then going up to the last floor. The top of the castle. Alright. There's our zoo. And behind the zoo, we have our aquarium. This used to be our iron farm location. That's why you have the floating zombies. We'll have to relocate them eventually. Rehome them. Here's a little dolphin exhibit. For those of you that haven't tried this yet, it was very difficult to get 2 dolphins to stay alive long enough to make it into the tank. Not an easy task. This used to be for tropical fish, but then somehow axolotls got in there, and ever since then, well, no more tropical fish. Here we have what's supposed to be our axolotl cage and our frog cage. We've got a couple of planets in the sky. We don't have a plan for most of them, except for the large red one in the middle. There's kind of a floor in it, or a level right in the middle. We plan to eventually have a block farm, or a block exhibit, one of every placeable block. Here's our map or signage so we know how far everything is. We've got the location and how many blocks away it is from, I think, the center of the city? Probably. Here's our map. I remember when we first did this, it was so much work just to figure out how to use maps. And then the next day you forget how to use them. It's annoying. But yep, here's our city and some of the surrounding areas. It hasn't been updated in a long time, but it's still pretty useful. We've got the different zoomed out versions, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. Just a nice little reference guide when you're looking for specific places or trying to plan out a build. Or if you're new to the realm and you're trying to figure out your bearings. Alright, so we've seen north, south, east, and west. This is like directly below our main room area. You go down to some stairs and we have our underwater conduit and our river with some decorations. We have our nether portal room. We've had this room for a long time. The main reason for it is just to give us a nice place to grow some netherwort. Down here we have our beacon room. I think there's water. Yep, okay. This way. Okay, here we go. This is our beacon room. It's simple, but we like it. It's not much to say other than we have 5 beacons. We still need a 6th one for the full mega beacon. Oh, down this way is our withered chamber. This is where so far we've killed 4 of the 5 withers. Of course, the first one we killed on the surface, but the next 4 we killed down here. You can tell by all the destruction. All right, back to the beacon room. This leads straight up through the center of the city, and eventually through Diamond City Tower, and then through the red planet. This is all the way down on bedrock. Alright, we fly out. Very nice. A little bit of a headache, but we'll be alright. Next up, we go down here to our basement. Here we have a lot of machines and items that we didn't necessarily want around the city. We have our bee farm for honey and honeycombs. Of course, plenty of lava for our super smelter. It's not that large, but I think 20 stoves. It's big enough for us. I believe I built this directly after watching a Minecraft MC video. Perfect channel. Here we have our regular stove. Just a couple of hoppers into 4 stoves. Furnaces. Same for the composter, just 4 composters. You put your items in the top, they come out the bottom. Pretty simple stuff. We've got some more farms here. Sugarcane, bamboo, some vines. As you see, most of them are turned off. That's why you see the netherrack up there. They were just producing too much and our overstock was full. Good amount of stuff. And then down one more level at the very bottom, below the basement, we have our train station from back when trains were pretty much the best way to get around. But now, doesn't really get much use, I suppose. They do go to a lot of different important areas and have lots of stop points along the way. But apparently we never went west. Interesting. So we've also got this area here. This is another part of the basement. We've got our zero-tick kelp machine, which of course doesn't work anymore. It's long since broken. We have a few stations set up for achievements. This is our wheat farm back when this was our cow farm. Before we had our golden carrots, we would just raise cows here. We would feed the parents, the babies would fall down to the bottom, to the space underneath, and then we would process them. Dripstone, let's see. I don't believe any of these tunnels really lead to anywhere necessarily important. Alright, time to eat our teleporting carrots. And here we are at the Black Pyramid. Not the most creative name, however it is one of the builds I'm most proud of. The building itself, I mean. I'm really happy with how it turned out. The right shape, the right design, the right materials. The inside's been decorated with a lava section here for an achievement. And the other side here has been decorated with some of the nether plants. Just a way to kind of show off some biomes. I think this is a cobblestone generator, or was. I really enjoy how this building looks. Very pleased with it. And then we've got Emily's barn. The bridge Emily's barn. We built this, I think, the day of or the day after the Pale Oak Forest update came out. Happy with how this turned out for sure. Here's the inside of our barn. As you'd expect, plenty of animals. Oh, no, nothing to see here. Donkeys, mules, llamas. And there's an apiary. Very nice. I believe Emily did watch a YouTube video for the barn and the apiary to give her some inspiration and kind of guide her along, give her some ideas. We have the lava well and skeleton horses. Didn't know she had those. Okay. Cool. All right. Off to the red planet now. Probably the only planet we'll look at today. It's made out of glass. They're all made out of glass. I think we have 4 or 5 of them now. This particular one, if memory serves, was 8,600 blocks of glass, give or take 100. And to build this, we didn't use any tutorials or guides or anything. We just trialed and errored it until it eventually looked round-ish. Eventually, we do plan on having our block museum in this planet. All right, red pyramid time. So here's our red pyramid. Really not much to see. We were just playing around with pyramid designs and wanted to make it look a little more menacing. I really like the colors and the textures. Also, I wanted something to waste our netherrack on. The plan was always to upscale it and make it much, much larger at some point. This little circle of netherstone here was our trial and error location for the planet buildings. Now we have our mending villager. He's kind of here by himself. He's from when we were first trying to figure out how to trade with villagers years ago. Yep, mending. A lot's changed since then, but we keep him here as a nice little backup. It was also a great location for raids before the ominous bottle was added. Okay, then we've got Emily's original house from when she first came on the server. This is the remnants of it. Here we are on the roof. Got a wells, some pandas, bamboo. Not too much else to see here, really. There are a few floors below us that contain some different uses, but it's mostly deserted now. Somewhere in this direction we have Mickey's treehouse. He built this hideout when he first came on the server, and for the longest time, none of us knew where it was. We didn't realize it was so close to Emily's house. Hey, this is a pretty nice lookout up here. Great views. Very nice. Not sure how I feel about having a bed up here, but the views are great. I'm also not too sure of the layout. I think there's multiple levels. I think it's kind of like a treehouse setup. Open floor plan treehouse. Hey, there are more levels. And we look to have some animals on the bottom. Oh wow, skeleton horses. Everyone has skeleton horses. I thought they were rare. Alright, an aquarium. Now off to Mickey's Jungle Temple. Funny story about this temple is my dad and I came across it while exploring the jungle randomly before the road was here. It was just in the middle of the jungle, and we thought Minecraft had added some update for some new type of temple, and we were extremely confused. Come to find out, Mickey had just tried his hand at building his own version of a jungle temple. Here's our road that leads back to the city. Mickey's top secret forest treehouse. Turn right now. Alright, we're turning right. Ice. Jack-o'-lanterns, plenty of those. I know one of the directions you follow this man-made river and it leads to the ocean. However, I'm not sure if I'm going the right way. More jack-o'-lanterns. I suppose that was his lighting source of choice. I think we just swam under the treehouse. Well, alright. Let's head over to our creeper and our totem farm. Every server needs one. Okay. Totem farm. This thing has been hit or miss the entire time. It's very dangerous to use. The raids seem to spawn on the leaves. Don't know why. It's quite dangerous to operate, but very worth it. We've got our creeper farm here. Not the best place for EXP. However, we mostly use it to heal our tools if we don't feel like going to the end, and we also need more gunpowder for rockets. So it's not too bad. Of course, you get way more loot when you're holding your looting sword. Let's grab our gunpowder. And I think we're gonna sleep quickly. There we go. That was quick. Now let's head over to somewhere in here. This is our ocean monument. Let's try this way. Alright. Here's our ocean monument. Like most of our projects, it's not quite finished yet. I do believe the inside is fully drained. And there's been some amount of decorating and altering. There's a few different floors, some really nice views of the ocean. There is a conduit outside of it, of course. Some stairs leading down. Bubble travel up and down. Second floor, not much to see here. Lots of lights, very good. Nice little garden or farm. Well, at least it's all drained. Not too much else to see. It does have a lot of potential though. It will be a fun future build for us. Going up. Not sure what we'll turn this into one day, but I'm sure you can look forward to a future video where we try to do something unique with this. I know a lot of other people have drained ocean monuments, but we'll try to do our best to make ours interesting and unique. Alright, next thing is the Pale Oak Forest. It's a little closer to the city. I'll meet you there. Let's go. Alright, now we're in our Pale Oak Forest. We built this right when the Pale Oak Forest first came out. The only things that are kind of strange about it are the grass color, because it matches the desert and river biomes. But other than that, we tried our best to recreate it. We also have this little hideaway, chill spot, nice and cozy. Personally, I do really like the look of the desert grass with the Pale Oak Forest. I think it adds just a little bit of diversity in the color palette. We also have our obelisks. They sit on either side of the main city and try to add just a little bit of grandeur. Here at the top of them, we have a nice little lookout. Not very practical, but it's a nice little touch, I think, and these were fun builds. Going down. Also on the top of them we do have end crystals. Hey, what are you doing here? Get out of here. This world's more than just blocks and builds. It's kind of a living scrapbook for my family and I. And now that you've taken our grand tour, if this world's an adventure you'd like to watch unfold, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And hey, maybe years from now, my kids will scroll through the comments and see that you were here from the very beginning. Thank you.